Hello and welcome to a special edition here on Haunted the Truth. And I am with Laura from Raw Side Paranormal. Before we get into the nitty gritty of things, I'm just going to do a quick hello to everybody. So we've got Bristol Paranormal Hunters, Sandra, Paranormal on the Go, Jamie, Dan, Han, da, 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 and I believe that's everybody. So, well, welcome everybody. Much appreciated. How are you doing today, Laura?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing lovely. Yeah, I'm dandy.
Hey.
So, obviously, your platform is mainly interviewing other channels. So, how does
Uh,
it feel with
yes.
the roles being reversed?
It's all right. I'm all right with it.
Yeah,
It's not very. It doesn't happen. I think I've only done 22 other times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting turn of events because normally I'm the one nattering away to you, but this time you're going to be nattering away to everyone else. So we are also going to keep track of the comments. So if you do have any questions as I'm going through asking questions that you want to ask, then Laura should be able to see those questions as well. I'm going to kick things off straight away. So I do have some questions up. I got all prepared for this. Very professional of me. So
Oh
we've got.
no.
So you have mentioned in the past that your paranormal journey began around the age of 8. Can you share what that experience was and what that then continued on to shape the path for you to go from there that point onward?
Sure. Yeah, I was around 7, 8 years old. My aunt at the time was a caretaker of a castle in Mohawk, New York,
Hmm.
which is only about maybe a 30-minute ride from where I live. And she was the caretaker, so us kids used to be able to go there and spend summers
Yeah.
or spend, weekends or whatever. When we had a break from school, we could go and stay there with her. Um, and so I was there one weekend. My parents had brought me up, and um, funny thing is, my dad had just bought a brand new video camera, so
Hmm.
he was videotaping everything on the outside. The name of the place was Geltson Castle, and so then when he went on the inside and he filmed it was just a beautiful place, just totally gorgeous. The woman that owned it lived in New York City, but she loved the castle so much because it was a replica of one she spent time in Ireland. So what she did was she had stones brought over from Ireland and had the construction of the same castle made here in Mohawk. So like my dad was filming all on the inside and stuff. And the funny thing is that when he went home and reviewed that footage, the only thing that come out was the outside of the castle. Nothing on the inside had come out. It was all black.
So it was like corrupted
So apparently,
almost.
she didn't want the inside on film.
Hmm.
So I was staying there, and my cousins were there, and my uncles we were all staying there, and it was late at night. And my aunt never told us the story behind the building or anything. And it was really, really late, and I heard something. I was the only one that got woken up. Woke me up. I heard heavy footsteps, and believe it or not, the chain rattling noise. And I'm thinking, what the heck is that? So I go to the door, open it, poke my head out in the hall, and I call for my aunt and my grandmother, and nobody answered me, but the footsteps were still coming. So of course, being 7, 8 years old, you're like, oh shit. So I closed the door, ran back to the bed, covered up my head,
Yeah,
like that was gonna
the
save me.
classic stereotype of hide under the
Right,
covers.
right. Oh, like that was gonna save me from something. Um, but the footsteps coming, and then they stopped right at the door,
Oh,
and that was it. And like I said, I tried to wake people up. Nobody would wake up. It was just me. So the next morning, I questioned my aunt about it, and then she started to laugh, and then she proceeded to tell me the story behind the building and the owner. She lived most of her time in New York, but that was like their summer
hmm.
place. She would come there and stay, but she said that when she had passed on, she wanted to be buried in the crypt that was in the basement of the castle.
Okay.
And there was also a family cemetery in the back, which has some of President Roosevelt's family members buried there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been there. It's pretty neat. Excuse me. So what they did was she passed. They didn't bury her where she wanted. in New York City. So it's written down in the historical books and the paranormal books that she is the ghost of Gelson's Castle.
And she's there because she's
Um,
angry that she wasn't put in the right place. I'm assuming the
right.
story would be. Okay, yeah, no, that would have
Unfortunately,
scared me at that age. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, through the years, it fell in disrepair. What happened was a Russian conductor bought the place for him and his wife. Unfortunately, he was highly superstitious, and then when he heard the story behind the castle, he built another house on the property, and they never lived in it.
Hmm.
What ended up happening was the place just it fell in total disrepair. This past year, they sold the property and they bulldozed the rest of it down. Because I was going to go back and film again. It was, kind of dangerous to go in there. I was
Yeah,
going to do
yeah.
it. But you can't even get on the property. They have it fenced off with electric fences and other fences. And
Hmm.
I think it might be I think they're farming marijuana there. I'm
Oh wow.
thinking because
Okay.
that's what you have an electric fence there. Um, on the other hand, I do have a happy point to it. The last time I was there, I did get a piece of the stone from the building, so I do have that at home, which I intend to put in a shadow box with an original picture and hang it on the wall, so it's some kind of a remembrance.
Yeah, like I mean, I've been known to do that myself in certain places. Just take a bit of a, what do you call it, a souvenir, as it were,
Right,
from the
right.
area. Got some new people coming as well. So we've got Fright Night Project. So that's Chris, Carburetors and Coffee,
It's Bill.
um,
Hi, Bill.
Bill, yeah, Central Mass Paranormal Society,
Susan. Hello, sweetie.
Susan. We know all the names. I'm terrible
Yeah.
with names, me. I'm awful with names. And Tammy's coming as well. So yeah, I mean that sounds like definitely something that would stick with you for the rest of your life. And Dan saying, he loves castles and the history of, and how beautiful they are.
Right.
There's obviously quite a few here, especially in Wales.
Right.
There's
See, we don't have that
a
many.
castle on every corner in Wales. You go out the door.
Yeah,
There's a Tesco in the local castle right next door to it. That's what it's like here. Honestly, in Wales, that's what it's like. But you've said in the past also that you've got 20 years experience in the paranormal. Like, how has your approach to things evolved over time? Like, have you gone from doing things one way and then realizing actually this isn't the right way and changing, or has it always been static?
to be honest, I tried doing other ways of doing it, and I just found out I didn't get good results.
Yeah.
Old school, I stick with what I feel that works for me. So it means no gadgets. I might pull up an app once in a while just to see what I get out of it, but I don't mark that down as 100% because I don't put any faith in those. It's just a camera and a digital recorder,
Yeah.
and that's what I go out with. And I seem to, when I do go out with that, I get something. Time, but when I do
Mm.
get something, it's something to pay attention to.
I mean, I kind of have to agree, and I think there's a few people here that would also agree with the less is more sort of concept rather than overdoing it. What drew you then to? Because obviously you've had these experiences and went on investigations, but what drew you to wanting to share it publicly and do things on YouTube as a channel? Was it always an idea to interview other channels, or did you want to do investigations as well?
Well, see, I don't put any of my investigations on the channel. I might put some things here and there. Um, I know because I don't edit, guys. Bill can
Hmm.
attest to I hate editing. I don't do it. I don't like it. And so that's why I rather just if I'm going to put something up, it's raw, like I've seen it. That's how you're gonna get it. I
Yeah.
don't the channel came along later when I was forced into retirement. Um, because technically I'm schooled and trained as a dental technician. So that was what I did for a living. And because of my disability issues, I was forced into retirement. So I figured, okay, let me find something to keep myself busy. And
Yeah.
I figured, well, you know what? I'll start, I had the YouTube channel for a long time, but I didn't do anything with it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I want to learn what other people are doing, what other people are finding out there, get some answers, and also help teach people, if I can. And that's pretty much how it started, the interviewing part.
Hmm.
Just wanting to know what everybody else is finding and what they're doing. And I enjoy it because I've interviewed some great people, and Mark is one of them. I've interviewed him twice,
Definitely.
and we learn a lot from each other. I think that's the important thing, the education, and learning.
And different
That's
viewpoints as well. I know. I think you've probably
yes,
you've even had people on before which have got like completely different ideologies to you, and you still, treat what they're saying with like some sort of respect, regardless of them maybe not agreeing completely with your ideology of investigating. If that makes sense.
right, right. No, I always stay on the fence because you got to keep the door open. You got to stay neutral when you're doing interviews. Um, the things I don't really approve of is like the ITC work, the guys with those portal things, and that I don't think that's kind to the people that they're doing that to.
Mm-hmm.
It's disrespectful. But
Yeah.
as far as anybody, like, I'd say get the equipment. If you can afford to buy this equipment, God love you, but get it, try it out, test it. I mean, if I had it, I would be testing it. I would be testing the crap out of it just to see, because you never know. There might be that one time that you're going to get something and you can't explain how it happened.
Mm.
When you've ticked all the boxes and wrote down all of your data and collected all of this and you still can't figure it out, then you might have something there.
Bristol
Because honestly,
Paranormal.
we don't know.
Sean from Bristol Paranormal Hunters has put, "Oh God, gadgets, crap, laugh out loud." So yeah, it's a lot of people don't like the a lot of the gadgets and that side of things. Dan says, "Who needs equipment when you have Dan?" So Dan, he's
There
yeah, he
you
goes to
go.
places and he's quite sensitive in certain locations to things. So he's
Right. See, I
a
have
lot
that
of.
same thing, where I go in and I can feel something's going on.
So what
No, I
is
don't
that?
claim I'm not a medium. I'm not, psychic. I don't claim any of that, but I am very empathic. I do feel a lot. And I've got a good record. I'm never wrong when I feel something. Always trust my gut. I always tell everybody to trust their gut.
So you
Um,
don't. So it's
some
not
people,
like You don't think it's clairvoyancy. It's just something that's.
it's just something that me and my family have. I don't claim it to be anything else, but being empathic. Because how do you prove that you're? I don't know. And I've never really worked on it. It just comes to me.
Hmm.
If I feel it, I trust it. I've always trusted it.
So it was in your
And it's always
family. So you had like sort of
on my
coaching
father's
from
side.
people in the family. It wasn't like it came
No,
to you and then you were scared.
we just all just did it. It was just all a part of life.
Yeah.
My grandmother, my father, my sister, and me. All just yeah. It's just something that we do, and it comes to us, and so we just go with it. I don't like I said, I don't claim to be anything but what I am.
So Fortnite projects, which Chris is asking, if basically staying on the fence can be a good concept, but can it sometimes dampen your motivation with if you don't have a concise belief, I suppose.
No, because I'm open to a lot of beliefs. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know I am an ordained minister, and it is on the Christian belief side,
Yeah.
but I've also studied other avenues of religion. It's very important because you're going to find truth in all of them. I mean, they've been here for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for it. There's truth in it. So if you take a little bit from each one, that's okay. I'm pretty flexible when it comes to that. And like I said, learning is the most important thing. So if you close the door to other beliefs and traditions, I think you're missing out on a lot.
So how do you think do you feel you lean more towards when it's investigated more towards a scientific approach or more towards a spiritual sort of intuition approach or a mix of it?
I think it's a more of a mix, but more scientific,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more scientific. But as far as, yeah, going through and believing that I'm protected while I'm there, um, and know what I can get away with and what I can't get away with. That's very important too. You don't want to, even if it's spiritual toes, you don't want to be stepping on them. It's
Yeah.
always respect. But yeah, the scientific part, I want to know, like I said, old school. I write down things, and like temperature, air quality, any contamination that is detected is written down, or you have to do this, trying to dissect what's going on in the space.
Yeah. Yeah, to rule out the other possibilities, of course. Which is
Right.
each to their own. I mean, some people like to just go straight into the nitty gritty and run straight into the sort of the depths of the ghost hunting side of it, let's say, and then others prefer to do the more concise scientific approach. And like you're saying, is with you, it's a bit of a mix of both. But throughout all of this, have you ever come across something which you can say? I mean, other than the stuff in your past as a child, is there anything been in the recently in like the last 10 years which either somebody has shown you or you've experienced yourself where you can say this is definitely something of a paranormal avenue?
Well, yeah, right in my own house. I Somebody calls my name in my ear. It's happened a few times,
Oh, really? So it's like
and
a,
there's nobody else home but me.
yeah, no, that is that's pretty scary. I mean, have you, I think I heard you mention once that you tried to refrain from actually investigating in your own home though. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, yes, because I don't. Whatever is here, it's happy. We're happy. I don't want to stir the pot, so I think it's better to just let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Things do happen, but it's nothing malicious. So we're all happy. We're going to leave it that way.
Have you ever had anything happen like the reverse to that though, which made you doubt your beliefs? Because some people, like if you, let's say you're continuously going out and nothing's happening, you can start doubting what you believe in and what you think is right and what and everything that you have as a perception in your mind. Is that something you've ever come across or not?
No, not yet, because there's always been something, even if it's something really minute. That's what always keeps the hook. Always keeps me coming back because I know any serious investigator knows that paranormal doesn't happen at the drop of a dime. You got to keep going back. You got to keep going. Even if you go 20, 30 times to the same location,
Mm.
there's going to be that one time when something does come up.
So
So, I mean,
yeah.
if you really believe in it and you have that craving, I guess you'd want to call it, to know what's going on, you'll keep going.
Mm. This is something that a few people have said as well, which is like you can't judge a place by just 20 minutes going there and then you can't just outright go, well, it's not haunted or that's not there's nothing paranormal there just from that one visit. So that's a really
Exactly.
a really good way, and it's a way that I've obviously come to understand over time myself as well. Dan's saying scary stuff regarding your story, and I've gone and forgotten the name, even though you said the name like 3 minutes ago. Carburetors and coffee said the
Oh,
visit
Bill.
that you had to the cemetery as well.
Yes, that was last fall. I
Yes.
plan on going back there again. I did. It was about actually it was a very short visit. I was there about an hour, almost two, and just a camera,
Mm-hmm.
taking still shots and a little bit of video, and I had the recorder going, and I caught some EVPs where something. It sounded like someone was. It was a male voice, like underwater. It was the oddest sound, but it was saying my name. It kept saying my name about 3, 4 times. Then it said another name, Joshua. And then towards the end, I caught somebody is watching you.
Oh, that's yeah, that would have freaked me out.
So yeah, so I thought it was amazing. So yeah, I want to go back in the same spot. And then one of the photographs that I did take, and this was a shaded area, and it wasn't damp or anything. It was a beautiful day. And when I took a photograph of that one section, you see a bit of a cloud. There's a deer in the background
Hmm.
and all the other stones, but there's like a bit of a cloud over one spot. And there's no explanation for why that cloud was there.
Okay, that's yeah.
I could say, oh, gee,
You
if it
gonna
was
you
cold,
gonna
maybe it
put
was
this
my
anywhere?
breath or.
anyone to
Yeah,
see?
actually,
Yeah.
I do have my shorts on my page.
Yeah.
On
Maybe I
the
should check those out then.
two page, you'll see in the shorts,
That sounds really interesting
and the
to definitely have
EVPs
a
are up
look
on
at.
there as well.
Dan's relating to what you were saying just now about some of the stuff, saying that um, he has had something here. My daughter calls it Dave. It turns the lights on, and lately the bathroom taps, but is also friendly and lives in harmony. So look, I'm guessing he doesn't like to aggravate
Right,
things. Uh,
right. So if you're
paranormal
happily, you guys are doing, it's working, just leave it alone.
Paranormal Ghost says you have to
Um,
spend hours in a location before determining anything. A place of living is definitely a good one. I feel we've hang on. I feel we had something at the last place we lived at a few years. Things being a bit questionable. So I mean, these things happens to everybody. Everybody has like a story about something. Um,
sure.
but what do you? I mean, considering you like to look at things with a little bit more scientific approach, what's your views on the actual science being done to research into the paranormal, because it seems to be lacking. They don't seem to take it seriously. There's no funding for it. What would you?
Right, which this is pretty upsetting because, and they go, well, you can't even call it a field. It is. It's a paranormal field. It's a field of the unknown. And I think if science took it a little more seriously, we could get so much further than we
Hmm,
are. Even with like equipment, because everybody has, because they go, well, what would be the equipment be detecting? I don't know about the majority out there, but I know that my beliefs, and
yeah,
most people that I interact with, their beliefs are that our energy, our spirit,
yeah,
it's pure energy. So we need something that's going to be able to detect and read this energy and even maybe communicate with this energy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Also, be able to detect, maybe like portals or dimensional gateways, or because we don't know how this energy is traveling. So
it's
that's part of the study.
some of the. I mean, I've been racking my brains over that type of thing for a long time now, because I tried to find answers. And do you think that maybe it's just a case that some things will never be known because they're outside of what we can physically understand as human beings?
Yes, yeah, I do. Some things just aren't meant to be known.
Mm.
I think that's why this is so difficult, even though we get little tidbits. I mean, like the EVPs and like
Yeah, yeah,
maybe a picture here and there. So we're getting a little taste of it, but so that's what keeps us going. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
if you're like, and I do mostly do cemetery stuff now because they're really strict on going into abandoned buildings. uh, so even though people might think it's disrespectful, I'm not there to be disrespectful. I'm there visiting. I love to go there because of the history. The history is just phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
And because this is what my husband and I would do is we would drive through these places and write down names and dates, and then we'd go home and look them up. And then you'd be floored by the people that you find and what they've done in their lifetime. And a lot of these people are just forgotten. So if you could bring light to who they were and where they
Yes,
are and what they did, that would be great. And like I said, if you go in there and you catch, and I go in and have just a general conversation.
yeah,
I'm here visiting and it's so lovely here. I hope, you're laying between a tree of, flowers. I hope you're enjoying this and so on and so forth. Very respectful, just general conversation. And I'm getting the EVPs in response, even if it's just my name.
yeah.
Now, how would it just come up with my name? Or, unless I asked it that day that I did get it, I asked him to repeat it. My name is Laura. Can you say my name or can you give me your name? And it did. It said my name 3 times,
Oh
and
wow.
then I got it was Joshua or Jacob. I have to go back and listen. It was either or. But the strange thing was it sounded like they were underwater. It has like a garbled
That's interesting. Yeah.
sound to it. So I'm wondering if the person drowned
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
or
Yeah.
maybe where they're communicating from. So maybe it's like a portal type thing, and that's like a residual sound through.
Some
that
people,
would sound like that. It's really strange.
yeah, some people are talking about a strange. I did hear like a loud squeak. Do you have a dog or anything?
No.
No.
Well, the dog's out. If
Okay,
she's in
no,
here,
no.
she'd be
There
all over
was
me.
a really odd, loud like noise like whilst we were both talking, and I thought
Of course,
it
I had
was
the window open. It could have been something from outside.
okay. Okay, yeah. No, everyone's like, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea." Out of like everything that you talk about regarding evidence and stuff, what would you say like it has to like what criteria would be okay, this is something that's paranormal? Would you use the word paranormal? Would you continue to say, oh, there might be an explanation for this? Like, what's your view on that?
Well, if I can't debunk what it is, and I do, I go through a whole, and my husband is with me. He's off to the side. And then when he listens to things or see things, I mean, he's the first one to tell me, "Oh no, that was this or that was that." So
Hmm.
he's the total 100 skeptic. Um, and then when I go through all of the data that I've collected, you have to classify it as paranormal because it's unknown. That's what paranormal is, the unknown.
Hmm.
So it's not just ghosts, spooks, and specters. It's UFOs or cryptids or whatever you're searching for. That is also clumped in that category of paranormal, unknown. So
Yeah.
it's okay to use that. A lot of people get all bent on, oh, well, you can't use that. Or you say paranormal fields, you can't use that. Yes, we can, because it is something we're doing. It might be hobby, it might be full-time work for some, but we're putting work into it. It is a field. It is a field of study and science that we're trying to get recognized.
Mhm.
So it counts.
Okay, I like that. I like that answer. It's made me rethink a lot of things actually. Dan's asking, "What's your thoughts on Ouija boards?" He has a personal fear for them. Oh, you're laughing.
Uh, all right. Some people have had bad experiences with them. I haven't. I consider it a game. It is controlled by the micro movements of your finger, the vibrations of your fingers. If you look it up, you look up the definition and how it works. You guys do the research. You'll see that it's really not anything to be afraid of. If you take it to a dark place and you've got that mindset, um,
The
I
intention.
don't know what could happen. Yeah, if you have that intention, and you're looking for gloom and doom and the devils and the demons, your mind is your worst enemy. It can play some nasty tricks on you. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a game. It's entertainment. Um, but until it's proven otherwise,
Yeah,
then it's just yeah. I mean,
I
it's
see what you're
just
saying. Yeah.
unless you like the old world one that was handmade by somebody. Maybe that might have a different story, but I mean, it's made by Milton Bradley, guys. It's
Yeah.
it's cardboard and paper, so I
Well,
really don't think it has any.
the one thing always confused me is that it's what is English letters. So like, what, if I take that to like Russia or China, it just you
Right,
know what I mean? It
right.
shouldn't work. Dan says it's like an evil Jumanji. Well, Jumanji's evil anyway, Dan. You
I mean, yeah, if
to
you
the
think of it
board.
that way too. I
Yeah.
mean, same thing, like with tarot cards and
Yeah.
pendulum readings. I do tarot cards, I do pendulum readings because it's fun. And anybody I do it for, I always tell them it's entertainment. Waste your life on this, it's entertainment. And it's pretty much what that is.
Oh, hello, Jake. I didn't know I had it set to subscriber mode only. I might have put that on because I didn't want to have to deal with anyone trolling. Yeah, so I
That's okay. I can handle trolls.
yeah, it's just
Take them out.
basically they have to subscribe for 10 minutes to troll, and I think that's quite
Right.
funny that they would go to the time of subscribing and wait in 10 minutes just to say something nasty.
Right, right. So they could start
Yeah,
trouble.
that personally amuses me.
That's dedication.
Yeah. Jamie's saying, I say this as fun. I want the Ouija board. What's it say? Kirk Hermit guitar. I cannot read
Kirk
that.
Hammett's I think Kirk Hammett's guitar. I would play like a demon. Rock on. Yeah.
And Sean from Bristol Paranormal Hunters UK saying, I think people unknowingly push it. Yes, this is one. That's what we were saying. It's the idiomotor
Yeah.
effect. If somebody wants to look into it properly, and it's much similar with
Yeah.
the
If you do the
pendulum.
research, you'll see.
Um,
Micro movements. It's the vibration. So you can barely touch it and it's still gonna go sliding.
what? How does it
And then
make?
if you get a group of people, it's gonna do whatever. So it's
How does it make you feel when you know about something and how it works, and like an SLS camera, for example? I know that those are here we go. Everyone pretty much should know that they are nonsense. You then
yeah,
explain to somebody how it's working,
how it
but
works,
then that
how it was
person
built
goes
for.
away and still does it and still claims it to be
Well, they
real.
get mad at me and they'll say, "Well, you know what you're talking about." Well, anybody, who's watched Kenny Biddle or done some reading, you'll see that it was designed for video games, not for paranormal investigating. I watch people use it, and I had it on my phone, and all I do is laugh because it is hysterical.
Mm.
Where I have one video where my sister and I we're doing an investigation in one of the cemeteries, and all the stones by her had the little figures. And then, so my sister's joking around, shaking her butt. And so this thing's like shaking along with her. It looked like a dance thing. It was really, really funny. But as far as that, it was made for video games, not for investigating. And when people do it and oh, look, I just laugh because it's funny. It's
Yeah, it is fun, especially when Lee from Really Haunted uses it.
That's what makes, oh
Yeah,
my God, it's so funny.
there's
I
a
die
there's
laughing watching
there's
that.
a roast coming soon with Bristol Paranormal Hunters UK, which is going to go into the depths with that, and I'm involved with it. But I shan't say no more because this is your time to shine. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Hello, London girl, welcome.
We're gonna look forward to it.
What's the number one place that you would like to investigate?
Oh, I would love to come to the UK, but I have travel issues. So
Oh, where in the
that's why I gotta live
UK?
vicariously through all of you guys.
Where
Anywhere in the UK or Ireland, I mean, just
is there
anywhere.
like a certain
Because you
spot
guys
or
have the
like
history and the
castles or?
buildings are just fabulous, and I would love to get my literally be able to go up and touch these buildings.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, of course. There's buildings here, aren't there, where America was still like natives basically was still in America, and
Yeah,
everything here was like old buildings. And I see what you're saying.
right.
Yeah, I do get your point. Is there anywhere by name that you know of, or
Oh, jeez, I don't know. Well, I obviously would love to go to Buckingham Palace, go through there because I've heard stories about there. But
yeah,
I
getting
don't. There's
out
just
there would be
there's
difficult.
so many. It's just like I said, castles. There's so many,
Mm.
and um, it's just hard just to pick one. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even myself, I'm like, I don't know. Half the time, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know. And
Right. I would need like about 6 months there just to be able to go to check everything out. And
we're talking about
hey, I've been there.
what you do then as a, obviously we've learned a lot about your beliefs and stuff, but what you do as for your channel, what, explain briefly what it's about.
Well, obviously, you know that I book people on from all over the world, if possible,
Hmm.
uh, paranormal groups, UFO aficionados, cryptid hunters. I bring them on the program
Yeah.
and ask them, first of all, I want to know who you are as a person, because that's everybody knows Mark, Haunted Truth. We know what you do, but who is Mark the person? People love to hear about who you are and what you do. And then we go into, okay, your channels and your belief system, your experiences, all of those things I like to bring out so everybody can share in that and then ask you questions. I love it when the chat asks the questions. I'm not going to think of everything. I try to do my best, but some people in chat come up with some really great stuff.
Mm.
And I love it when they can interact with the guests and we can just, experience through you what you've done and what you're doing.
What would you say out of all the people you've interviewed and all the experiences you've heard from people? Is there anything that stands out to you that's surprising, or something that's like a recurring theme?
Mm. Well, everybody's looking for the same thing.
Yeah,
Even though we all do it differently, we're all looking for the same answers. I think what stands out is the people who do it for the truth and not for the fame. That's what I appreciate. I think that stands out when you get people who actually do it for the real reason, not for the clicks, views, subs, whatever, all the bells and whistles for YouTube. It's great. We all want
yeah,
those
of course.
numbers. I mean, it's part of doing it. But are you doing it for yourself and not for the channel? You're doing it for the people who follow you because they either can't do it or don't know how. So that's why they're watching. That's why they take part in all of this. Um, so it's pretty much why I do it and what I look for in everybody else.
I think one way to know if that type of person was truly into the what they were doing, or if they were just creating something to simply get content for entertainment, it would be, the question you would ask is, do you investigate outside of filming? Would you still go to locations for 3 hours if you were not filming? And obviously, if the answer is
Exactly.
no, what's the point? Then you kind of get an idea then that they might not be fully invested into it in that respect to things.
Right. Or they're
Obviously,
just not authentic and they're just doing it for the entertainment aspect,
yeah.
but claiming that it's real.
Wow.
That's the annoying part. Like, I don't see where it hurts you. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes. The few that I watch that we all know are fraudulent, but they're funny.
Hmm.
So that's why I watch it.
So, what are your
I
views
don't
on the
think it would hurt him
fakes?
if very disappointed because they're damaging what the rest of us are trying to accomplish.
Hmm.
Especially like last year, I call it the year of the demon. Every time you turn around, somebody had a demon. If you actually had an encounter with an evil spirit, you wouldn't be laughing about it. Ever go back into any of these places ever again because it would literally make you shit your pants full. That's the bottom line. If you encounter something that scary, it's not a joke. It's not, oh, we got it all on camera. You would be throwing the camera and running. That's the truth.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there as well that will sit behind a desk and say, um, "Oh, why, why are you acting in this way or that way?" But without being in and experiencing something, like you're saying, if there was a demonic force, you're not going that skeptical mindset of, "Well, let me just check this to make sure." That goes out the window in that moment, especially
That's
if
the
like
least thing you're thinking
a
of.
12-foot horn comes at you. You know what I mean? You're gone.
Right.
You're not going to be like,
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
just
the
check the
giant
time a
lizard.
second.
Yeah.
That goes out the window. So it's
Quick, get the camera. Yeah, I would be throwing the camera and taking off. I mean, I'm not a runner, but when you see something like that, I'm not hanging
yeah, you're
around.
gone. Your instincts
I don't
do kick in.
Yeah, that kicks in. You see that, yeah, your history. It's
As a paranormal go saying, fake channels do ruin it for everyone, and they get so many views as well. It's madness. I don't get it.
Yes, they do. And that's what's disheartening, but that's, bullshit sells. That's the bottom line, guys. It does. Unfortunately, the ones all of us that are doing it for the science, for the answers, paranormal's boring until something happens and you don't know when that's going to happen. So,
Hmm. Is there
hopefully we'll catch it so everybody could share in it, but that's not a given. It's not a guarantee.
Is there anyone that you've spoken to and their story has made you change the way you think about something? Have you like learned from anyone else?
Well, I learned from everybody that I encounter
Is there anything that
on and
stands
off
out?
the program. Uh, I think that one person that I did speak with, she does have a channel of her own, and she's a sweetheart. And she spent a lot of years searching for the same answers we did. And she did take a trip not too long ago to the UK and went to all of the so-called famous haunts and come up with nothing at each place. And she says every place that she went to, she could just feel that there was nothing there. And she says by the time the trip was over, something just told her, we're not meant to know any of these answers, and it's just time for you to stop. And so I felt well, I felt bad for her because, like I said, she was 100% in. And after having this experience, something died inside of her, actually, to
Yeah.
continue the search. So that stuck with me. Hoping, that never happens to me because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy that's, meeting people from all over. I love it. I've met such great people doing this, and we all have the same questions or the same wonder. And hopefully that light, that spark will keep going until we do find something.
And are you specifically looking yourself? Like, are you specifically looking for answers of life after death as a perception of what this might be, or are you just trying to find anything that might be able to like answer the questions of the unknown? Or what's like a personal thing to you?
Well, a personal would be, yeah, I want to know. I want to know where we go. Where do we go after we pass on? What do we? I mean, I know we change into energy, but where's that energy go? Why does it stay here?
Hmm. Some people might, say there's different beliefs in there, like heaven and different dimensional spaces and going back into the universe itself and things like that. There's loads of different beliefs out there. So I
Right.
suppose everybody has um,
It all depends on
different
what your
perceptions.
belief system is.
Do
But then
you?
again, like I said, why are you here? Why, if you have a choice to go anywhere, why do you still linger here? Is it unfinished business? Is it because you miss being among the living? I mean, there's a million questions for that as well. So that's all part of it.
Yeah. So you think that, like, hypothetically, it is spiritual? You think it is here to do with just things like unfinished business, or do you think it could be tragic events, or perhaps not even realizing? And
Exactly. Yeah, all of it. All of it. It could be, it depends on who it is, what happened to them. You don't know. It's each story is personal.
mm,
So it could be one person, was in a violent car crash and doesn't realize that they passed
yeah,
on. Another one could be, maybe that they were, done in violence and they want justice. Uh, some could be just, a miserable old SOB and just doesn't want to leave and he's going to make everybody miserable with him. I mean, it could be anything.
mm. How do you feel about like certain locations? Do you feel that maybe this activity and accounts are increasing or decreasing? And do you also feel that some places are like overdone or overhyped?
Oh, oh yeah. Um, I actually say that a lot on my program when I'm talking to people, and they're saying like, "Well, we want to go here, we want to go there." Everybody has their bucket list, and I all want to go to the famous places. But I've been hearing it from people outside of the investigators, people from in chat, and personal messages. People are actually really tired of seeing the same old places. They want all of us, and all of you guys out there that are investigators in the chat, go to places that nobody's heard of.
Mm,
Local places, your local haunts. You don't have to spend a lot of money. We don't care about all of that. We want you to go somewhere that we've never seen, never experienced, and see what you come up with. You're going to get, I think, more out of a local haunt than you would,
yeah,
like 30 East Drive. They beat that to death.
yeah, yeah,
I think that one of the best part when I saw was when whatever it was had pushed on Griff's chest. That just really just oh my god moment. If something like that happens a lot there, then that would be yeah, keep going. But
yeah, yeah,
we've all seen it. Everybody goes there. All right, pick something else. You got to change it. You got to pick something else because people are looking for new, exciting
yeah. I
adventures.
mean, not to mention like it's inundated on YouTube with videos. It's like, well, you're just going to appear
Yeah.
at the bottom if you're not like a massive channel. Your video just
Oh
won't
yeah.
get
Yeah.
seen. Um,
I mean, it's
so
the same thing like with the Conjuring house.
yeah,
We've all right. We are all out of that. We're done with that. I myself don't believe that there's anything going on in that house. I believe maybe the property has something going on with it, but the house itself, I don't believe it.
hmm. Ryan said,
And you're paying a ton of money.
the question is, what it comes down to is there a God? Is there afterlife? Or are we all doomed to roam Earth for eternity once we're dead?
Again, it's your own
Who
belief
knows? Who
system.
knows? Who
I do
knows?
believe in God. I believe in Jesus, but I also believe that there's strict rules when it comes with certain religions. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. Religion is corrupted by man, so I pretty much that I'm spiritual, not religious, because when you involve the human race in that, it's a control system, and you should be able to your beliefs the way you want, what makes you feel good. So you don't have to go to a church to believe in God or the creator, whichever you prefer. God has many names.
Hmm.
It all just depends on one you want to pick.
Yeah.
Because there is only one creator of all of this. I mean, bottom line, one thing created everything. What you choose to call them is your choice.
It's a very interesting point of view. I mean, I've even as a going from complete skeptic to open skeptic, I've started to research into the religious aspect of things, and there is definitely some interesting things there, and there's a lot of holes in science where it's like, well, okay, what created the Big Bang? You know what I mean? It's one of those type
Right.
of things. Sophia saying, or is it all just a simulation? I mean, it's
Ah,
feasible. It is feasible.
eh,
That would be another hour conversation if we went into
yeah.
that. We know better than. Oh, the chat's just jumped on me because I'm trying to catch up on things as well. I'm just seeing if anyone else has asked any questions before I continue on. One thing we know for sure is it's all what it's meant to be.
Right.
Just listening. I've heard you go before, but the little known places get less views. I mean, it can do. It depends how you put it across. It depends what you call it. So
Right.
if your
Right.
title's great
See,
and
your
your
job as an
thumbnail is
investigator
great,
and for YouTube, you got to sell it.
yeah, you pump it out, a
Got
bit
to
of
sell that
advertising as well.
unknown place. And once it gets caught on, then who knows who's going to show up at that place.
Dan's under the same agreement with you that God does exist 100%. So that's something that a lot of people, regardless of knowing if the ghosts are real or not, they have a deep belief in that ideology. If Thompson, if we're in the Matrix, it's because we're meant to be in the Matrix. If demons are real, it's because demons are meant to be, and so on and so forth. Well, that would all be down to coding, wouldn't it? Again, we'll go down a rabbit hole if we go down that route. Oh, Sean saying, if we are born naked and we pass away and a person is seen as a ghost wearing clothes, how do they happen? Basically, how are clothes seen in the afterlife when people see spirit?
I believe it's because we are seeing them as we want to see them.
Mm,
I mean, how many of you imagine seeing a ghost naked? I mean, a lot. I don't think we'd want to. So I think it's something to do with how they present ourselves. See, is more comfortable that seeing us in that form.
okay. So it's almost
I
like
mean, I could be full of shit, but it's it's how I look at it.
uh it's sort of like showing you a more comfortable version of itself, so it's the
Right,
manifestation of its physical self, so it could be a light
right,
form, but then it
right. Because it could, like you said,
manifests
you
to
see
we're
how
like.
we are used to seeing the human species. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I've never thought of it like that before.
I mean,
um
because if you just see this big,
yeah.
huge, like beam of light coming towards you,
you'd
that's going to freak you out.
you'd
But if you
freak out,
see
yeah.
a human figure,
You can relate.
it's recognizable.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've never. Yeah, that's very interesting. That broad your mind up a little bit. Tammy's asking, what tips do you recommend? Going as I'm going to Romania to investigate Bram's castle. next year.
Nice. Nice. Just trust your gut. Do it old school. Just your camera, your recorder. Be patient. Yeah, just and respectful. That's got a lot of history. And oh boy, I hope you find something. That's an opportunity. Good for you.
Did I miss a question? Um, oh, so Chris is asking. So there's on the channel. There's a place called the Poltergeist House. He was asking if you've seen that any of the stuff from that episode. As it's
No,
I think that's the question. It must have skipped past. Everything's going quite. I should have put
it's
slow
going
mode on.
fast.
I
Yes.
wasn't expecting people to loads of people to come in.
Hello, Sir Wayne. Yes. Yeah. No, it's. I am so behind on seeing things, guys, because besides doing the podcast and when I can get out and do some investigating, I also do a magazine that takes a whole month to put together, and it's just it. So finding time to watch everything is insane. I'm also a full time caregiver to my mother who is suffering with dementia, so it squeeze things in where I can. So I don't catch everything on YouTube to
Sean's
watch.
wondering how clothes could actually just like how could they come to be? I mean, I think the way that we're sort of hypothetically looking at this now, but if you close your eyes and you think of somebody wearing a top hat, in your mind you can see someone wearing a top hat, but that's not real.
Right,
There isn't somebody really there wearing a top hat. That's like been
right,
created within your mindset. So I suppose if they're when people do claim to see spirits, if it is spirits and they are appearing in clothes, they are utilizing this ideology in a way. I don't know. I'm trying to fit things together here, but it's
excuse me.
making my brain pop a little bit.
Right. Well, that's a tricky question, but like you said, I do think it's just our mind manifests that image. Uh, because I mean, you guys don't really want to see a naked ghost.
Mm.
So it's just easier, just, oh, they're wearing this, or especially if you know if it's a ghost friend long ago, you say, oh, you see him in the old clothing and the hot top hats and all of it, because that's, I think, what you're expecting to see. So that's what is presented.
What's your views on past ghosts? Like, why don't we see ghost dinosaurs, ghost cavemen? This is what Sean's asking. Do you think we can haunt ourselves as well?
Wouldn't that be something? I don't know.
Quite a broad question, that.
I don't know. Uh, I've never experienced anything like that, like ghost dinosaurs and stuff, which would be amazing. But
Oh, imagine that. You're in a forest somewhere. Is there anything here? And you just.
right, and all of a sudden, yeah, you hear the roar of a, like a velociraptor or something. I don't, but not for nothing. You hear strange noises. How do you know that's not what it is?
if
So I don't. That's a
uh,
hard question to answer.
was who was it that asked for advice just now? I can't remember. Was it someone was saying about Dracula's Castle? I kind of forgot. My brain's fried at this hour. But I was gonna say to you, like, to further onto that, like everything you've learned over the time, what one piece of advice would you give to people starting off or just started off as an investigator?
Always trust yourself. Always, your gut always tells you the truth.
Hmm.
And just to like go at it just as simple as possible. And as you get more experience, you can get like the fancier cameras and all of that stuff if you wish. But like I said, I have a regular, you know, camera, regular recorder,
Yeah.
and then I just document everything, and it works for me. If you're into all that fancy, high tech stuff, then knock yourselves out. But you are the best judge over everything else. Always trust your instincts, and they won't do you wrong.
Good advice. I would add to that and say, obviously, once you think something's happening, if you get it on camera as well, you can verify that it's not just um at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the forest, your brain can play havoc with you. So
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
having an extra device to confirm what it is you think's happened, that's always good to have. Um, so what's other than people, anyone else who wants to ask any questions? Fire the questions out now because I'll start wrapping up. It's been an hour now, but I'm gonna end with my question, which is, what is going to be next for Rawside Paranormal? What's your upcoming projects? Is there anything you're excited about?
Getting out. There's a few new cemeteries that I have looked into. I want to check those out and see what kind of data I can collect off of those. I might have the opportunity to get into an abandoned house, but I do know the owner, so I have permission. That's
Okay.
the only way I'll do something like that. Um, I'm hoping to. I haven't touched base with him on it yet, but I'd like to be able to go in there and check that out. Otherwise, just yeah, continuing what I'm doing. Interviewing great, fabulous teams. Anybody interested, they can contact me, and we can set up a time. And also, continue with the magazine. The magazine is community based, and I love to have everybody share their experiences and their stories. They just have to send them to me so I can put them in, and it's free, guys. It's a free digital magazine, and it's so everybody can learn and learn through your experiences and share. That's what it's all
And
about.
you
So
got
I'm generally pretty busy.
all your links and emails and everything are all linked to your YouTube page. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you
I'll
go
pop,
find everything on the
I'll
YouTube
pop that in
page.
there and just give it a little pin so people, if they haven't already, go over and check that out. And if you want to get in touch, then get in touch.
Just
So, anything else you want to say to add to anything, or whilst people might want to ask any more questions, I'd give them about a minute because I know this has got a delay. But is there anything else you want to add?
if you guys go out, be careful. Never go out alone. Always take a buddy with you. Don't believe everything you hear or see. And just have a good time. It's all about having a good time and be safe. That's pretty much the bottom line.
I feel like I'm going to be getting a telling off from you because I went alone in a couple of places the other day because I didn't have anyone else.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, you don't know if you're gonna fall into something, and then how are
my
you gonna be,
my
rescued?
parents, I honestly, they know, I swear, like they went ballistic. Why are you doing that for? Going on your
Well,
own? You're
see,
mental. You're gonna die. My dad was like, "You got 50% chance of dying." Anyway,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
see, and I know that's just the mom in me, but I bitched my husband out about that too. When he would go hunting, he went hunting one time all by himself,
yeah,
and he got chased by a bear. He never ran so fast in his life. He made it back to the car, thank God. But I bitched at him because he didn't tell me where he was going. Nothing. He had there's no phone, no nothing. So she could have ate him and I never would have known where to find him. So always let
yeah.
everybody know where you're going.
Especially in the
Never go
states,
alone,
it's
just in
even
case.
you do.
Yeah, and you never know if you've run into like you go into buildings and stuff, there's homeless people
Yeah, yeah.
or wild animals, you get attacked by some crazy person. You've got to have
I, s-
somebody who's got your
I
back.
suppose the only way that you would feasibly say it's okay is if you've put privately booked a place out and you know that no one else is going to turn up,
Right.
in which case
Right.
it's fine. So
I mean,
anyway,
most of the places everybody goes is you fall through a hole
yeah,
in the floor or something. I mean.
doesn't look like anyone else has got any questions coming in. So Bristol Paranormal Hunters is saying thank you for the great interview and to say safe, stay safe. What's that?
Stay
Can't
safe.
speak.
Yes.
You know what I was
Thank
trying
you
to
for
say.
everybody who joined us.
Um, so
It was a pleasure meeting everybody.
a few people have gone over and subscribed to you. So hopefully this will
Oh,
help because
wonderful.
you do
I've been
deserve a
trying
lot
to
more.
reach the 500 mark, so maybe.
Oh, we can get you there before the end of the year. Let's
Oh
see if
my
we can do
goodness.
it.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, everybody seems to be Laura. Great to see you. Awesome chat, Mark. Respect. Yeah, let's wrap it up on that. Thank you so much for coming in and giving your story and experiences here. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Any last
Thank you.
words?
Yes, thank you very much. Just thank you everybody. And hopefully we'll see you out there.
And if I don't see you for the rest of the day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.